So you're looking to reach out to potential investors for your startup without having to go through platforms like Seed Invest or AngelList, go to super expensive networking events or dinners, and doing the outreach manually yourself. If that's you, you are in the right place to learn how to do automatic outreach to investors. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can focus on reaching out to accredited investors, over 100,000 of them, and how you can filter them based off of their previous investment experience, off of their investment focus, off of their background, and so many different types of factors, all through the method of cold email outreach. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Alex Makowski. I run Outreach 101, which is a cold email program where you can learn cold email from someone who's been doing it for over a year and a half at this point. I also run Infinite Bookings, which is a cold email lead generation agency, where in the past 6 months alone, we've booked over 1,000 qualified sales calls for our clients. Now, without any further ado, let's get right into the video. So there are 5 steps to reaching out to so many different investors with a personalized and targeted approach using cold email. So let's get into the 5 steps. Step number 1 is creating the email account infrastructure, which it basically means how are you going to send a lot of emails in a short amount of time without going into the spam folder, right? Step 2 is scraping investor databases. So there's multiple different types of investor databases, directories, where you can find and filter out for the exact ideal investor profile that you're looking to get in touch with. Now, leading off of step 2, you go into step 3, which is finding the decision maker contact information, right? This is basically finding their email address, their LinkedIn profile, their mobile phone number, any type of contact information so that you can get your offer in front of them efficiently. And then step 4 is writing the cold email scripts. So what is your offer to them? How should you structure the outreach? What should you say in your message? What should you never say in your message? Stuff like that. That's what we're going to go over. And then step 5 is one of the most overlooked ones, which is response management, right? A lot of people focus on these first 4 steps, but then they forget that when people respond to them and they show some sort of positive sentiment to their message, you need to be following up with them. You need to be getting back to them quickly and need to be getting them answers and onto a pitch call. So with that being said, let's get into the steps. Step 1 is the email account infrastructure. So this is a quick overview of how we get the email accounts ready. So let's say you have your primary domain, right? Let's just say that it's infinitebookings.com, right? The way that you would structure your cold email outreach is by buying multiple secondary domains, and off of those secondary domains, setting up 2 email accounts each, right? And these secondary domains would all forward to the primary domain, so that when someone types in, for example, go infinitebookings.com or go and then your company name.com, it's all going to forward to your main website. And obviously on your website, you would have more information. So that's how you're going to structure the email account situation. Now, if you're wondering kind of what technologies we use to make this happen and make this come into reality, it's very simple. There's 4 different technologies that we use mostly. Now, we're currently testing a lot of different tech just to make sure that we're always getting the best possible rates, right? If this were to change, where, for example, pork bun was leading on to an issue and there was a different domain registrar that was performing better, we would swap it out, right? But at the time of this recording, this is the most optimized setup that you can have for sending a lot of emails, having a relatively cheap setup cost, and also always landing in the inbox. So for the email sequencer, or the email sending platform, some people call it, we use Smartly.ai. This is where you're going to upload all of your campaigns, your email accounts, manage responses, kind of like a central hub for your outreach. The domain registrar, which is basically where you buy and register your domains, is porkbun.com. Next is the email accounts, which is from Google Workspace. Now, we do use a third-party reseller of Google Workspace accounts. These are basically the same exact email accounts with the same IPs, with the same quality, but they are meant for cold email and they're much cheaper. They're almost half the price. So instead of paying $7.20 for an account, you pay $3 for the same exact thing. And also you don't have to worry about setting up any DNS records, DKIM records, connecting them to your accounts, any of that. It's all done for you. So I'm going to link the one that we're using right now in the description so they can check it out and give it a try. Next is inbox placement, which is basically like checking what your deliverability is. So it's going to give you a result of, either 0 or 100. And on that scale, you'll know how many of your emails are actually getting, into your prospect's inbox. And that's really important, because if you're not, then you have to change your infrastructure, right? So that's that. Now, it's worth mentioning, like I said, we're always testing different softwares. And really, if we see that in 6 months, something else is working better, we're going to switch to that, right? So you always have to be kind of at the top of the game. And one great way to do that is by joining a program. For example, I would join one where you always have the newest industry tech, because you have those insights from people that are doing it every single day. So that's the email infrastructure situation. Step 2 is scraping investor database. So there's tons of different investor databases that you can scrape. Some are easier, some have more investors than others, some have better filtering options. It really depends on what type of investor you're looking to get in touch with and what type of outreach volume you're trying to do. So Investor Hunt has a lot of people on there, right? Over 110,000. And also like Crunchbase has a ton of people. AngelList and Seed Invest are a lot more good with like filtering, for example, like their specifications, investment focus, background experience, stuff like that. But really what you want to do is find a database that, number one, you can scrape easily, right? You can also find someone on Fiverr or Upwork to help you scrape them, or build a scraper to scrape, and also someone that fits your criteria, right? So you need to be able to find people or find a kind of like a big place where people, investors that you're trying to get in touch with, are all congregating, and that's where you need to go. So you need to find a specific database that works best for you. Now, in terms of scraping, basically filter out for whatever criteria you need to see in an investor. A scrape either with Instant Data Scraper, which is like a Google Chrome extension, or you can have a custom scraper built out if you hit someone up on Upwork, on Fiverr, and they'll most likely be able to help you guys out, and it won't be too expensive either. So most of the time, what you're going to get back from these databases is either like a LinkedIn profile or first name, last name. And really what you need to do at this stage is store all that information in a Google Sheet once you scrape it, and then go with the step 3, which is finding the email address, the LinkedIn profile, the mobile phone number of all those people. Most importantly, the email address, because that's exactly like how you're going to be targeting these people. So if you already got the email address from the investor database, some databases give it to you, some don't, then just skip this process of like getting the email address and go straight to SMTP verifications. But if you don't have their email address, what you're going to do is go to clay.com, which is a big automation tool that brings together over 75 different databases, directories, tools, and overall like softwares into one platform. It's a very strong tool. And what you can do with it is run an enrichment to find the personal email of these people, right? So what you would do is load it up into Clay. You would add their enrichment, select the personal email waterfall enrichment option, right? Once you get there, you'll be able to see it. You would keep whatever data providers you want. I recommend keeping these 4. You would map the LinkedIn profiles as the input, and then you would run the enrichment and basically just wait for the emails to propagate and come back, right? Once you have this, you're going to export that list from a Clay, and you're going to run SMTP verification. Now, what is SMTP verification? Basically, it ensures that the emails that you're sending to are actually valid and that they're safe to send to, and you're not going to burn your domains by sending to them. So if you don't do this, you are just like shooting yourself in the foot. It's very cheap. It's very easy. There's no excuse not to do it. So just use a software like Million Verifier, which is the one that we use, to verify your email addresses, and you won't have to worry about anything like that. Next is adding personalization. And this is really where you can go crazy, or you can literally just do nothing. Basically, what Clay allows you to do is add a very personalized message and do a lot of research on every single lead automatically. So you can have a lead list of 10,000 investors, and you can run a very simple enrichment to find, for example, one thing from their LinkedIn profile or one thing from their website or whatever it may be, and do research on them. You can even do Google searches on each lead. So you can do a ton of personalization in Clay. I'm not going to go too in depth in it because some people will do it, some people won't. But there are many videos on how to do Clay. I'm going to link our top 7 Clay workflows that we use that you could just copy and paste into your account. So feel free to give it a try, but just some ideas to get you going on what you can do with Clay. You can scrape information from website or LinkedIn profiles. You can scrape the last few posts off of their accounts. You can return social media data points, so their follower count, social media links, and more. You can run a lead scoring enrichment to basically categorize how relevant a lead is to what you're reaching out to and kind of adjust your outreach based off of that. And you can also create AI generated personalized first lines. Once again, this is like the tip of the iceberg. You can do a lot more with Clay. Next, let's move on to writing the cold email scripts. Cold email scripts there's a big misconception that you have to give as much information or you have to, make this hyper optimized cold email script. In reality, if you just follow this thesis of 3 that we've come up with after writing hundreds of campaigns in the past few months, you should be just perfectly fine. For cold email to be predictably well written and effective, it needs to contain these 3 characteristics. Number 1, it has to be direct, right? So under 75 words, no filler words, straight and to the point. Especially with these investors, they have busy lives, they have a lot of stuff going on, and to be quite frank, they don't have a lot of time to read your email. Number 2 is relevancy. So if you try to sell, or pitch to every single investor possible, you're going to end up pitching to no one, right? You're not going to get any deals, you're not going to get anything. You need to talk to these investors on a very one-to-one or individual level. And then lastly, value-based. So solve problems, right? What is in it for them? The only reason that these people are going to be responding to you is because they see some benefit for themselves, right? And you need to portray that in the first few emails. Now, the goal of any cold email or any outreach message is to simply convey the investment offer to the investor. That's it, right? Then, you can't change your offer, right? Even if you this is the offer, you just need to show your offer to them in the best way possible, in the most interesting way possible, and try to get a response out of them. That's it. So that's why 90% of the success that you see with outreach campaigns, and with our clients, we see this, the best clients are always the ones with good offers, right? With unique offers that are to people that have a need for their service. So common mistakes that we stay clear of: if it's over 100 words, it's too long. If you include too many fluff words, it's going to be over 100 words and it's going to be too long. Including spam triggering words, this is a pretty basic one. Not getting to the point, right? Nobody wants to hear all the fluff. Talking about yourself too much. A lot of companies will try and just say oh, we have this crazy new thing and we're beating the competition by this percent and we just made this much money last year. You should invest. The only thing that matters is the benefit to the investor. So talking about yourself too much is not good, right? Obviously, I'm not saying don't talk about yourself at all, because that's the whole point of pitching an investment, but make sure you keep it on a very conservative level. And then also not split testing, right? So if, for example, you run 3 different variants of your cold email script and one's working better, you need to be able to take that one variant and push more volume to it. And that's how you're going to get better results over time. So that's writing cold email scripts. As you can see, it's nothing insanely complex. Really just follow that thesis of 3. Before you launch any campaign, look and read the script very just casually. And if it doesn't follow that thesis, most likely it won't work. So next is the response management, which is the last and final step. Like I mentioned, this is the most overlooked step, just because people focus so much on launching a campaign and trying to optimize every single factor. And then once the campaign's launched, they kind of sit back and relax and they're like, okay, well, now the leads just kind of book themselves in. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Really, you need to turn this interested response that this investor gave you and turn that as quickly and efficiently as possible into a booked call. That's the whole point of response management. And this is where all the money is made, right? Not a lot of people will follow up for 2 or 3 weeks. Not a lot of people will call every single day trying to get them onto a call. And that's exactly where you have to shine. So you have 2 points of contact really with this prospect or with this investor. You have the email conversation thread and you have the mobile phone number, right? Here, I'm going to link this document. You could check out how to enrich and get high quality mobile phone numbers from LinkedIn profiles, right? So you have these 2 points of contact and your goal is to basically, in a way, just use them and leverage them as much as possible to get or increase the odds of getting this investor on a call with you. That's your goal. So what you want to do is when someone is a hot lead, right, you want to respond to them really, really quickly and keep following up with them to keep giving them top of mind of your product, of your pitch, of your company. So if you do, for example, you get a positive response, you have to be responding within 5 minutes, right? If you respond within 15 minutes, short, but I'm going to show you something in a few minutes that is going to make you just really want to respond as quickly as possible, because that's going to give you the most effective outreach possible. So you respond within 5 minutes, you call them to their mobile phone number, you double dial them, you text if you don't respond, and you keep following up every single day until you get a response out of them. Now, why is lead response time so important? So this is a case study that was done by Dr. James Oldroyd, right, which is a big outbound marketer, and it was in collaboration with MIT. So it basically goes over responding within 5 minutes to a lead. Leads are 100 times more likely to convert into a call as opposed if you respond to them within 30 minutes. So what that means is that 25-minute gap makes the world of a difference, right? So you want to be responding within 5 minutes, ideally. Here is also the full case study link that you can check out and see the data. It's really interesting, so feel free to check it out. So that's the 5-step process that we use to reach out to investors on behalf of our clients. It works like a charm. If you have any questions, let me know about it in the comments below. And if you want to become an outbound marketing expert, learn how to do this on your own, feel free to check out Outreach 101. It's our cold email coaching program. It includes over 56 modules of exclusive cold email content, over 100 active members in our community, unlimited store leads export, which is an e-commerce database, 2 times 1 hour weekly coaching calls, real-time industry insights, which, like I mentioned, is extremely necessary if you want to stay at the top of the game year-round, product scraping, pre-built outreach campaigns for major industries, copy and paste outreach frameworks, and much more. So there's 100% money back guarantee. If you don't like it for 7 days, we'll give you all of your money back. So feel free to check it out with the link in the description, and thanks for watching. Once again, if you do need done for you cold email services, so if you're a company and you're looking to get in touch with investors, we have tons of experience in doing that, and we can possibly help you out. So book a call and we can see how that would work. So with that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.